That's the point, is you don't just think and be like, yeah, that's this, that. Plato didn't run around acting like a meth addict. You know what I'm saying? Aristoteles did not run around acting like a meth addict. Sorry, so sometimes, like someone, and that was probably just a troll. So I'm probably just feeding these people who I stopped feeding and they stopped responding, and now one of them's going to respond again. But anyways, sorry if that happens. Sometimes, you know, I'm like trying to formulate like 10 moves in advance. Like one of these, I paid attention to one of these chess move players, one of these recent kids who's a new chess move player, and like they're interviewing him and he is not even, he's saying, I'm not even thinking about this interview. They're like, what do you think about it? He's like, I'm thinking about the fucking chess game tomorrow. You fucking retard. It's like, yeah, dude, what are you interviewing this for if he's got a big game tomorrow? Get the fuck out of his face. But that's like his 24/7. You know, that's how some people are. We're stuck in here, and it's cluttered in here. But at the same time, even if it isn't cluttered, you gotta like give it a second or two to think. But on the image thing, I just, you know, went off track there to explain to you what happens when I'm pausing. I'm not some fucking retard who. One time I was pretty fucked up when I made a video, and I was going like, yeah, that was actually the 2020 election video. It took something to work it up to that. I was being fully honest, but that shit takes money to do, and I was thinking, you know, you can't do it without their money unless you can use the internet and you get enough people to spread your shit around. If I had enough people to spread me around like these alt-righters are doing with the newest alt-righter, Patrick Little, then I mean, that'd be more than enough to get famous. I've got so many more days here before I'm gonna try to get famous again. But back to the image thing. When you create those images, if your God computer creates these images, everyone's going to be a little different, and some are going to be really different. And so I create images to alter the image many times as well, you know, to see how it performs. Like, for instance, let's say this is a real basic one. There's many reasons to do this, but here's a real basic one. Let's say someone has been attacking your computers and your computer's constantly needing an OS reinstall. This happened to me when I first got into this crap. So I started with a fresh image. I created a fresh image. Instantly all this shit stopped. Didn't even have to use the image, I believe. Might have had to use it once, but if I did, it was so little I didn't really have to use it enough to notice it. But I created that image, and then I could use that image on multiple systems, and I could then build onto that image different things. Alter that image in different ways to have different tasks. Like, you know, my main PC might have a certain few 100,000 purposes. And my secondary PC might have, you know, dedication. You know, it's less powerful, but at the same time, it's running 24/7. You know, my third PC might have even a single use, you know, as a camera server, you know, to secure security cameras and their images in the videos or images it takes, whatever it takes. So when you create these multiple images, you throw a multiplier in there, you throw a random equation in there to suit your use. You might do it to suit your use, but even when you do this, there are going to be anomalies in this. There are going to be broken anomalies in each of these images because this system is imperfect, and it does not 1-1 back up anything. They use the term 1-1 backup. See, hopefully I'm not using too many terms here without explaining to you guys what they mean, and I probably am. 1-1 backup means exactly what it means. A perfect image. You don't get this. Maybe you could run a check and try to confirm you've got this, but you don't get a 1-1 image ever. So when you create the image, you have all these anomalies mixed with the the factors that change the way that image is designed to work. And I'm not sure if there's too much more I can go into images here, but I'm just trying to lay out how this biotech, Android, goyim, based world, and how it's weird they've been, using these terms interchangeably. And it's clear these scientists know this. They're using these terms. Now, cause or effect, which came first, chicken or the egg, the idea or the fact that it played out the same way? You can argue that. But I don't know, man. It seems very suspect when you see that the humans are successfully programmed by different things, and they all these things tie into each other. And when we get into talking about dark city, there's several things like this people talk about, several shows like this that have similar ideas and stuff, premises. When you get to talk about dark city, kind of what we're talking about is a RAM, random access memory. Now they say you're programming like different ideas into people, but no, I mean, no one's really talked about this, so I can't comparative. But when Star Gods talks about this, he talks about they're reprogramming your memory, and that's it. Don't confuse the memory with the hard disk drive. So the random access memory in your computer, now it can be changed so you have some on your hard drive, some that stays in the hard drive, and in fact to boot faster, some does stay on the hard drive. But the random access memory is designed to be erased day to day, or reset to reset. Let's use that. That's more accurate. When you turn off your computer, your random access memory is blank. And when you start up again, then it takes a minute to start up. That's interesting, because, I mean, this could be argued. Most of my life, I did not take a minute to start up from waking up. I would literally jump out of bed, and eventually it got to the point when I was in my late 30s where jumping up out of bed was like fucking conducive to my health. It felt like it didn't feel like it was helping my heart maintain a pain-free existence. But many people don't just wake up and move on. They have to kind of start up slowly, like your computer does at first, right? And then what will happen is it will take that data, it will start loading it from, I could get so deep into software right here, but I'm not going to, so I'm not going to, fish for software terms. But it basically takes your registry and loads your drivers and loads your startup software. When it gets in there and starts up in the morning or whenever you decide to reboot your computer. And if you put a new programming, it's always best to shut down your computer and restart it. It's actually recommended, because things can happen, conflicts can happen, and initial startups initial programs might need to start at an earlier time and stuff. So when the human is programmed by some of the stuff, maybe it takes some time for the programming to set in. You aren't instantly programmed, but you might wake up the next day and be like, oh, I need 50 Shades of Grey book, and because it told you that. And then you wake up the next day after you read 50 Shades of Grey, and you're like, oh, I need a man to beat me and rape me and treat me like a woman. And that's the end of it. You've got the startup files in your registry. You're fully programmed and ready to go. Now, if I wanted to turn this into an 8-hour video, I could have fully researched and thought this over. But this is really a in-depth question that I've just seen repeatedly over maybe up to a decade now. So I've not actively looked into most of this. This is just stuff I have to do. I have to learn about this computer stuff. I have to maintain all this. My computers and electronics are under attack, and there is no other word for that. Who's attacking them? I think we can all answer that question. When a Mexican is defrauding my bank account, I don't believe that's a Mexican at all. I don't believe that at all. Especially when the bank works to protect these people. I think we know who would be severely attacking my systems once I've started attacking them with these systems. Come at it. Who owns Israel? Who owns Intel? Israel. Talpia. Who owns AMD? Well, let's look. I think we got like a sod owner in that. So what's the difference? It's actually a conglomeration. But all these Arab states, the conglomeration of the Arab states, all these Arab states are all working, with the same thing, it seems. None of them are like actively working against us. Press TV has on some people, but they don't actively talk about most of this stuff. Which they should know if they're right there directly in the middle of the war zone and stuff. But there's more to it than just the imagery, the memory, the programming. There's more to that. And for instance, you have miles of nerves and veins, circulatory system in your body, and you combine that with an oxygen respiration system. There's so many parts of the body. And what prompted me to make this video is Star God said they came out with a new thing. They didn't come out. They didn't come out with a new thing. They discovered a new organ in your body, and he specifically called it, and see, this is what I'm saying, it all ties back, a flood pump. Yeah. And you have these things. You don't have a flood pump in your computer, most likely, but higher end computers, people trying to really push their computers, trying to really maintain them, people want to spend a lot of time maintaining them, do have these things. And so what do we have that represents the flood pump, the circulatory system, the oxygen respiration system, and the nervous system. Okay, so we have circuitry. We have your PCB, your boards. That's the board in the computer, the hard silicone board. Is that silicone? Maybe you shouldn't take that 100%. I believe it is some sort of sand-based something. It sure is fragile, like it's sand-based. And you have the circuitry, the buses imprinted on the circuitry, your actual connections, where piece by piece is traced, your trace routes there, connected on the board where everything gets connected, and then there's the places in between that are separated, so the pieces aren't touching and stuff even. And you have, in a computer, you have fans which provide airflow, and even if you have a radiator, which is what I was talking about as far as performance for your fluid pump, you still have fans on your radiator system to expel the heat, which is a huge portion of this. So you have those. And when you have cameras, they have named most of the camera after the human. You have the optics, you have the lens, you have the shutter, which is not named after the human, but is pretty much your eyelids. So when we get into all this technology stuff, we have the same stuff over and over being seen, and it really does, as they attempt to create a human, they really do learn how to mimic a human. Hold on, I'm gonna pause it. Okay, I shouldn't even did that yet. It's gonna be hot for a minute. Okay, so all these things mirror what we're seeing in technology. In the human, the goyim they're like receptive of many of the stuff that the technology is receptive of, like the programming. Let's look at Google's algorithm for a second, even. Imagine you have the humans, or the goyim, have the algorithm where they learn what they're shown, and the words they hear, and your searches are tailored to that. But the searches, they can be altered. I mean, by the programmers of Google. We know who that is, right? The Russians. The offshore Russians. Then you have the humans are really receptive to the programming, like they have an algorithm that can change and mold to this programming. Not just learn the programming, but change and mold to it. So I could probably just go on and on. Like, I mean, if I just picked up a computer book right now, I could probably look at a few more terms and explain even more. No, and I didn't bring up wiring in the computer to finish off the the nervous system type thing, the nervous system type links. But it's just so weird. All this stuff is interlinked, and at the same time, the human, the goyim, are so receptive to the programming. it's like there are bots, and then when you look at many of them, people claim this person is that person, and that there's only so many people in the world. You know, apparently, I mean, but often maybe these people are just like Alex Jones and Bill Hicks, and I don't think that's, you know, that's truth. I think that's truthiness. That's before anyone said Alex Jones and Bill Hicks, I was like looking at people around me, and I'm like, these people are the same people, but they're different, and that could be explained in the image definition I explained, but it could also be explained by like Planet Earth reality show where actors play different roles and they have access to different time frames, or they set it up so it appears they have access to different time frames. Like there's this one guy I follow, and I'm pretty sure he's came onto my channel and commented as well. And I've seen another channel. I see Jesus Everywhere is his name. I've seen another channel. It's like a tech or gamer channel or something. And it looked like a younger version of this guy. I believe it was younger. But his mannerisms were very similar. He's like being pretty serious in the I See Jesus channel, I See Jesus Everywhere channel, but the mannerisms of the person who looks like him and acts a lot like him on the other channel are very similar. And at the same time, like, this is what they point out about Alex Jones and Bill Hicks being the same. And I was playing a game, Rainbow Six Siege PC, and someone came in the chat room, and I knew right away this was someone I knew. I knew this was this person because the way he talked, the nuances in his voice, his mannerisms, his level of excitement. Hell, even the fact that he kind of got scaredish for a second when I said that person's name. For some reason, his name's not coming to mind right now, even though I'm always seeing him at concerts and freaking lived with him for a while. I mean, that just happens, right? But I was like, nah, dude, you're him. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Someone else in the game, when I said that person's name, actually responded and said, what? How do you know my name? But it was almost weird. It was weird, like he was saying it for someone else. I mean, like the way it was said, it was almost like he was saying it for like a friend he was playing with. But that dude, he like had a weird response at that same time. And I talked to him in real life. I was like, hey, you were playing Rainbow Six, weren't you? And he's like, I've never played it. And it's like, dude, there are not two of you. There are not two of you. You are a different person than other people. You are extremely different. I hate to break it to you. I've never met someone who I thought was mannerism like me. I don't think so. Then again, I'm generally extremely quiet and don't talk at all. And I suppose someone like me will never meet someone like me because of we will never initiate contact with each other, with other people, so we couldn't initiate contact with each other. But in reality, I've never met that either way. I've never looked at someone and been like, wow, that person looks like me, or met someone and been like, wow, that person kind of acts like me. But I've seen this several times now, and like other people use Alex Jones as an example, but I've also stated that there is like, this is a wild number thrown out there. And at first I said 16, so it rapidly grew to like 78 to 144 humans. 78 to 144 humans. And then I think, how does that happen? Because we need a large crowd. There's more than 78 to 144. But my original wording was 78 to 144 human images. And that allows for the discrepancies. I mean, there could be like that many base made up ones off of one base image. But it does seem that there is I don't know, dude. To me, it seems that there are people who act as several people in this play. And as far as I know, I'm only one person. I've been many people. I change all the time. I'm not set in too much. I mean, sometimes I am. And to the outsider, it might seem I am, but I think to people who know me, every few years, like, we're disconnected because I'm not the same person. I change. I don't change it. Sometimes it's like this programming. Sometimes I just wake up and I don't eat the same food anymore. I don't like the taste of that food anymore. You know? Does that happen to everyone else? I have gone through stages where I don't eat my favorite foods and I eat other stuff. And then, I mean, it's far off from something I normally do, but let's take beer, for example. I hate the taste of beer. It's nasty. Like, getting fucked up's cool. So you want to drink some beer. You want to drink some hard liquor, get it over real fast. I hate the taste of beer, though. But rare occasions, I'd drink a beer and it'd be like good as hell. But that's so fucking rare. It's like, let's just not waste money on a beer to find it out. I don't know why that ever happened. Like one time my friend gave me one of those green beers everyone likes. What's that called? A Heineken, I think. I think that's what he gave me. And he was like, this shit's good. And I was like, yeah, that shit's good. Never liked it again. But I never liked the beer before that either. But sometimes my food changes like drastically and for long periods of times. Although for me there are certain things I'm out of that stay. You know, pasta and gummy candy and cheesecake and pizza. I could live off that. I do live off that. Let's change that. You know, rice is pretty good too. I mean, to be honest, I like a lot of stuff. I'm not super huge picky if you know how to cook and stuff. If you know how to cook, you can make anything taste good. But these changes take place, even in me, but maybe they take place even less in me because I'm not influenced by the propaganda as much. I do not participate in the programming. Normal people don't even have the ability. This society would fall apart if you guys lived like me. I don't even live. I just float through life. I don't know how I'm still alive. I don't know. I'm telling you, learning about this stuff has kind of taught me how I'm still alive. There's something else going on. And but that angers me at the same time and that has really fucking fucked up my life to learn that anger because I didn't have anger. And I had a pretty fucking good mentality. And I was a pretty nice guy until I developed that. But at the same time, I realized that I had to learn this. I would have had to learn the anger to confront these subjects, to confront these people, because no one else will. And I've studied people long enough to know that you have to have this to confront these people. And I'm not sure if I worked on changing that or if they changed it by putting programming like Alex Jones into my life, because I can specifically start to recall around the time I met Alex Jones is when I stopped being a peaceful hippie to when I became anger. I always had destruction, but not anger. Mindless destruction. But just maybe there was anger every now and then, but not like there is now. I mean, I can tell by looking at me. Apparently, other people can't. I can tell people like in the last month or two have like started acting really fucking different around me. They act fucking scared and shit, and it's like I'm trying to smile, but it's just like, no, I look wicked as fuck. Apparently, I don't think I was supposed to drink that because that could have been from several days ago. Oh shit! Where is the actual water? Oh god. Hopefully I haven't been drinking that the whole video. I mean, okay, so I think I might end the video here. I can get into this, how the programming, how we change. I've tried to analyze other people, and I can to a large extent, but I really can't 100% tell what their life is, what they do when I'm not around. That's the hardest part. Do people meet up in a building and discuss how they're going to deceive me next and which part of the play comes next? Or is that just a delusion? How does that shit work? I try to understand the humans, and I can. To a large extent, I believe I understand them more than other people. I'm scared to look at humans because of that. It's no fun to know people, and you're just like, there's no reason to fucking talk to them because there's no one to get to know. You already know them. Fucking. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on in everyone else's mind and how their lives have rolled out. But it seems pretty simplistic. And I think that's because many of them are in the programming and they participate in it daily 24/7. And I have not. There's just something in me that like kicked the shit out of the system from the start. It just feels so sick and dirty to be involved in any of it. The schools, watching TV excessively, like I did watch TV excessively, and then eventually it became like, ew, what the fuck am I doing? You know, and then you learn about who owns the comic books. It's like, those aren't safe either, are they? It's like, and then what they do with them. And then you learn about, you know, all their other forms of programming. The radio, I mean, I learned about the radio because the radio was just shit music. I was like, man, these people suck. Like, this music sucks. Can you play something other than the same 6 songs over and over? You know, I know like fucking 500,000 bands. You got to play the same fucking 6 songs all week. What the fuck? For a year. For a year, too. You're not just playing the same 6 bands for a few days. But, I think there's something going on here, and I can't quite see it. And it might be delusional to look at it this way, but it's delusional whichever way it is. Whether they're being programmed, there's actually like 3 ways, I guess, you can come up from this video thinking how I might think, and you're right if you come up with those 3 ways. There's the people, who are the humans, who are the goyim, and just like the Jews say, are some sort of biotech slave. I just wish the fucking world wouldn't crush whoever it is, whoever I am, so much. But there is then the option that the humans are just like, you know, sheep that have been deceived and are being manipulated on an extreme level by people who understand how to do it. And then there's the Truman Show type option, you know, where everyone else really is in on it, which is weird. And so I'm going to end it right there. I could really, I want to go on with this, but I'm fucking sitting here soaking, dude. I just got out of the gym and I'm soaking from sitting in this damn heat, dude. How about this, y'all? Truman Show, whoever, which one of y'all watching? Fucking stop giving me cars that are ghost mobiles and fuck up, and give me something that, in cameras that fuck up. Oh, yeah, I'm asking the people who are fucking up my shit to help me. Sure, that's going to fucking happen. I'm just going to not waste my breath. Okay, so, yeah, I fucking hate being wet, dude, so I'm going to get out of here and maybe get a bite to eat in here and give me some cake. Perfect fitness meal. And then fucking maybe shower, and then probably get tricked into going outside to work on the car and fucking get drenched in sweat in like 3 minutes again. So I'm gonna end it right there. Just I don't know, I used to think people like Star Gods were kind of off, but I didn't come to this shit by listening to people like Star Gods. I believe I came to this by looking at the world around me and analyzing how the people act, which is a long journey, very long. I used to look around at the other people when I was a child, and I can tell you it didn't look like the other people were doing that. The other kids were having fun, sleeping at their desks, doing work. Most kids were just having fun, because that's what a kid wants to do, and they're instead being enslaved at these schools. So I would look around, and I don't think the other people were analyzing them, and it took so long of analyzation for me to come to things on this level through the analyzation, rather than, being told and stuff what's going on. Like I couldn't have been told the relation between the images of the hard drive and the image of the Bible, and how the scientists deny us that. The atheists call. I shouldn't say scientists. I don't know what scientists think individually. I know atheists call on the Jewish brand television tells us not to believe God, but to worship the Satanic temple. I mean, God isn't real, but then they tell us through science call that we must create humans. God isn't real because no one can create humans, but we must create humans. It's jibber jabber nonsense. It runs in circles. I can do a whole series. In fact, it's one of the things I have written down that I wrote down a long time ago, on debunking atheism, atheist cult, science cult as I call it, because I'm not debunking atheism, I'm debunking science cult in their lies and methods, where everything they say is just a deception. They say, oh, this story, God created man in his image.